Hello and welcome everybody to 1973. In the golf world, we had the US Open where what's his name? Oh yeah, Johnny Miller, one of my favorite announcers of all time, won the US Open. I think that was his first major. Might want to fact check that statement. And Macgregor comes out with a solid Persimmon wood. This is the era, the decade that I think of as tons and tons of laminate woods. But we have a solid Persimmon here. So let's get this beautiful, solid chunk of, I almost said metal, wood on the review table and have a closer look. So the 70s have different characteristics here. This particular one, 1973, says by Macgregor. I like how they put the little underline there, by hyphen Macgregor. Macgregor V.I.P, the wood number right here, 4-screw sole plate. You can see the bore through shaft right there. Looks really clean, looks good. Spin around the skirt, what kind of typical Persimmon styling here that we get from Macgregor. No nonsense grooves. I like how they're just straight through. We have a 5-screw pattern in the X shape right here. Is that going to focus for us? Lovely looking Persimmon. We spin around, you can see on the hosel right here, we do have the registration number. We also have, it's a pinned shaft, so you can see right there. The whipping looks good. There's some white material right here. Not sure what that is. And then, uncharacteristic, we have this stepless shaft right here. For many years, many years after, they were using stepped steel shafts. Obviously now everything's graphite, but good to see a stepless steel shaft. Macgregor, tourney taper, 2 medium. This is just my sticker. And then we have a Macgregor tourney rubber grip here. Macgregor made in the USA. Lovely looking club here. At address, you can see VIP Limited. The little diamonds in between the V, I, and P. Gradient pattern finish here on the crown. Really solid looking Persimmon from the 70s. Let's roll the footage of when I took this out on the range and see how it does. This club feels amazing, despite the sample on the range. I hit low heel, height on the face. Those are just strike problems, not anything to do with the club. But the club feels and looks really good. At address, the presentation is just sublime. And off the face, everything feels fine. Now, I know golf pros. It was Johnny Miller or Jack Nicklaus. I forget who it was. I was watching this interview where they were asking him about old Persimmon woods. If you know this interview, let me know in the comments below. Where they said that one of these top pros said they like the 50s woods because they're old wood. So you can take wood off, you can modify it and not worry about the club cracking. And supposedly the more modern, younger Persimmons that they used later were more prone to cracking. Now I'm not sure if that's true, and the rumor has it that they derived their wood from this forest in Tennessee, but they built a dam, and so that old Persimmon was flooded and it was no longer accessible, and so they had to use some younger wood. I don't know if those are true, but that's where we stand in the 70s. And a lot of it, just because of apparently there was a supply problem, we didn't get a lot of solid Persimmons from Macgregor. So a lot of them, the Macgregor production, switched over to a laminate production, which I don't think is bad. It's just not, as a collector or as an enthusiast, it's just not as pretty. So, verdict. This might be one of my favorite drivers from the 70s. I have other Macgregor laminates. I have Wilson laminates. I have Walter Hagen, which is a Wilson brand. laminates. This is one of the best, and one that I'm going to put in a bag and play. So watch for this in future videos. Macgregor VIP 1973. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you played this? Would you? Let me know your thoughts. And like I said, it's not these premium, like collectible 50s woods, but for what I do, the vintage golfer, not always the vintage collector, but something I want to put in my bag and play. So, as usual, huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to join us on Patreon, it's just general support. I post a few behind the scenes pictures and updates every month. And you can also support this channel by visiting my Amazon shop. I'll put a link in the description below. I am an Amazon associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe. I am the Vintage Golfer.